This is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Hello, Jim Toth. How are you?
Happy Monday, Mr. Cameron Poitras. I'm well. Good to be here. Nice to start off a nice week here in August. I love August. It's my favorite month. A lot of people are panicking.
I'm a July guy.
July?
I like July.
I love August. I don't know why.
Well, what's a good month? I'm not against August.
Some people are. August is like the month that's Sunday night to people, right? You start overthinking the week and what do you got to do tomorrow, and people are worried about back to school. I saw a Halloween store opening in the south part of the city, and I'm like, people, just relax. It's August. Let it breathe.
October is a great month.
October?
It is.
Yeah.
October's
Hockey.
a good one. Yeah.
I've always liked the fall. Fall is because that's when things change. You either went back to school or you were a new seasons.
October's really the only fall month that we have in this geographical location.
I guess September's beautiful here.
Well, I would say that September is, at the beginning, it's more like summer, but by the end, it's fall. But October, I think, is like a full month of fall.
And baseball playoffs, hockey starting.
Even outside of just sports,
I mean, the way my Astros dismantled the Yankees this weekend.
Okay, Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash. Jim, I got to get our sponsors in here.
If Mike Keene is listening, I would take that Yankee tattoo off your arm.
Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash for my good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which was coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta, bringing the team to Boston Pizza. Jim, I want to ask you this in the next little bit. I want to tee this up. I want to know your thoughts on the lineup for the Jets heading into next season.
Yeah,
we'll expand a little bit on that as the show goes on. And also, I don't know if this CEO of hockey, ice hockey, as they call it in England, I don't know if the CEO of Ice Hockey UK is
that an actual job?
He's lacking humility, or he's just a very bold man.
Or is that a hobby?
He's a CEO.
Is that like I do this on the side?
He is the CEO of Ice Hockey UK.
Brad Lambert played hockey for a year in England. He loved it. His wife wouldn't let him go back because they think the team was sponsored by 3 pubs, but he loved it.
Can't imagine what was going on. But I want to talk about that because it's a bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
I like bold statement, but first, the king of bold statements.
And a Cubs fan. I noticed you brought on a Cubs fan on a Monday.
I did, yeah. Voice of the Winnipeg Jets on 680 CJOB here, Paul Edmonds. Hey, Paul, how are you?
The Paul Edmonds.
Real good, gentlemen. Good morning. I don't know that my Cubs are going to catch those Brewers, though, for that division lead. Brewers are pretty good right now. But you know what? Get in the wild card, anything can happen,
they don't stop losing. They just keep winning. It's driving me up the wall. They don't lose. It's like they just won't lose a game.
They've won 1,000 games this year in a row.
They won 72.
They keep winning in a row.
The Cubs, I'm telling you right now, if they were in any division right now, they would be right in the mix. I don't know, it's only 4.5 games, but anyways, I'm getting beside myself. I'm going to talk a little Cubs. I have to drown out the Astros' constant dribble coming out of Jim Toth.
Just bomb after bomb from Altuve.
New season, new team coming up here. Paul, just a little bit over a month away from the start of training camp. I mean, we're closing in on it here. How do you think the Jets should approach this year?
Well, I think that they're going to want to, as much as possible, match what they did last year. I mean, you never really want to fall back, but I think something a little bit less is likely inevitable. And the reason for that is, and they started to notice it last year as they went along and were leading the division and leading the league, is you're going to get everybody's best. There's a measuring stick now to the Winnipeg Jets for most of all other teams in the National Hockey League. So from that standpoint, I think you're going to probably set your sights for a good season, a 50-win season. But I don't know that you really need to go out and win the President's Trophy again. It's going to be nice on opening night, likely against Dallas, when you are going to raise that banner. But ultimately, it doesn't mean a whole lot. And I think that if you can still secure first place in your division and not be the ultimate team that wins the best record in the National Hockey League, and set yourself up for the most important time of year, which is beyond the 82 games, game 83 in April, and then past that. That's where I think the Winnipeg Jets will be focusing. Now, you have to get there. There's no question about it. You play the 82 games. But to be succinct in answering your question, I think that they're going to be all business through their 82, but also with even more of a focal point on how they can be better, not just in the first round, but into the second round of the postseason, because they're going to get everybody's best. They should be well-tuned by the time they get to game 83. That would be the approach. Now, there's going to be some growing pains this year with some new players, no Nikolai Ehlers, some line configurations. Your captain and third-line center likely won't start the season with you. So there's going to be some fluid nature to the Winnipeg Jets, but I think that with the veteran group that they have, they'll be able to navigate through all of what's coming rather easily here to start the season, and then set their objectives as they go along if they haven't done so already.
A lot of people talking the lack of Ehlers on the power play, Paul, and I get that, and I fully understand it, and it's a loss. But also I think what's lost in that is it's still a very good power play. Who gets that spot in your mind, and what do you make of the number one power play unit without him?
Well, it's probably Cole Perfetti, right? From my standpoint. There was always Nikolai Ehlers was either on the second line or the first line power play and back and forth. And I think that Cole Perfetti, if he's truly going to be a second line player, and I have him penciled in with Jonathan Toews and likely Gustav Nyquist. Now, that could change. I could be out in left field on all of that, but that's the way I see things shaping up. I think Cole Perfetti gets that opportunity, or maybe there might be an opportunity again for a guy like Jonathan Toews to move in there. One thing about Jonathan Toews is we've talked about the 3 Stanley Cups that he's going to bring, the experience, of course, the points that he's put up, and all of that over his career. But the one thing that he's going to help this team with is face-offs, and that hasn't been discussed a lot. And I think if you can start with the puck in the offensive zone, on the power play, that's going to help you be able to get into structure and start to move the puck around and get to that spot where you've got that quiet ice with that guy, because you're always, as they say, looking for that odd man situation, that 2-on-1 down low where you can exploit somebody. So for me, it's probably Cole Perfetti, could be Jonathan Toews, but I would be probably a combination of one of those two guys. And then I guess also Gustav Nyquist could maybe fit into that as well. But I see probably him more to be on that second-line power play unit. I think Cole Perfetti with his vision, with his hands, and certainly the ability to now take another step in his career, it's probably his spot to lose.
All the places that I look, there's a lot of people. I mean, they're excited about camp coming up. A lot of people want to see Jonathan Toews on the ice, see what he can do. Has expectations perhaps risen too high as we get closer and closer and the excitement gets mounts?
I can only measure that from conversations that I've had with friends and certainly with Jets fans being out and about. And I've said, look, when it comes to what is the expectation of Jonathan Toews, and the question that I get is, how good is Jonathan Toews going to be? And I've just really retorted with, if Jonathan Toews is 70% of what he was in the apex of his career, he's going to be a good second-line fit for the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, he was a top-line center for all those years, and certainly I think he'd like to be back to closer to 100%, and the Jets would have a boon for sure if he was. But if, because of his age, if he's fallen off a little, I think that's okay. You know, I don't know that he's expecting to come in and get 90 points or 80 points. But I think what he can do is settle things down in that second-line center spot, and especially with not having Adam Lowry to start, Vladislav Nemesnikov likely kicks down into that spot, and that's a pretty good 1-2-3 center ice position for the Winnipeg Jets. And I think Jonathan Toews knew going into this what the expectations in his hometown were going to be, and he's comfortable with that. So I think one of the things that he's probably anxious about is just getting on the ice and tugging over the uniform over his head and getting out there and twirling around. And then all of the other stuff and the wonderment goes away about how he's going to be and getting that first couple of reps in an exhibition game out of the way and then a regular season game, I think he'll be just fine. He'll handle it with aplomb. He's done so as the captain of a 3-time Stanley Cup winning championship team in Chicago for all those years, and a big hockey market at that. I think the expectations will not be something that Jonathan Toews will be running from when it comes to playing in his hometown, and nor do I think the expectations will be great on him in his hometown to come out and have those types of seasons either, because I don't think that anybody realizes that at 37 years old, he's going to lead the team in scoring. But what he can do is be a real good opportunist for some points to come in and really support your top line. And I think that's the role that the Winnipeg Jets signed him in, and that's the role that I think he's going to be very comfortable in.
30 seconds, Jim.
30 seconds, Paul. Are they done? Like, is there some moves to be made out there? Do you think the Jets will be at least involved in some teams that are maybe over the cap, or what might happen as we get through camp and maybe the first 20 games of the season?
Yeah, good point. I think right now they're done, but they'll look to see what's available on the waiver wire. Also, I think you got to keep in mind they've got about $5 million in cap space available, so you want to accrue some of that. The other thing that was told to me in a real quick answer is Jonathan Toews, maybe not right now, but could be the lure to bringing somebody in at the deadline or just before that wants to win. And if the Jets are performing well, it might be an opportunity where you say, hey, if you come and we negotiate a trade with this team and you to come here, you'll play with Jonathan Toews. That could be the attractiveness that gets you over the hump. So I think the Jets are done right now with signing. Not only are they going to have a good team, but I think they're really going to have a nice push from the major junior guys coming in. It'll be for the Manitoba Moose. I think both teams will be very competitive this year, but at the same time, I think that they'll look to see what's on the waiver wire and if they need to snipe anything that way. And at the same time, they have to be cognizant about losing somebody on the waiver wire if the pieces don't all match up and fit when they get through and into training camp and through the exhibition schedule.
Paul, that was a perfect lead into where this show is going. Let's take a break. Thank you very much, Paul. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your summer. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, sure. Where's the show going? You can't leave me like that.
Wow, you got to stay tuned. Turn your dial to 680 CJOB.
It's a radio tease.
Will do. Yeah. I love the news hook there.
Yeah, no problem.
He's been teasing the world for years, this one.
Yeah, that's all I do. Thanks, Paul. Take care. What am I talking about?
Thanks, Paul.
Don't go anywhere. 204-780-6868.
Even I forgot. I'm intrigued. I forgot what we were doing. Now I'm intrigued. I'm like, is this?
Don't go anywhere.
At noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline. Open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get a delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15 only at BP. The number one caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. So leading into our conversation, which we're going to get really into right after 12:30, I want to give you the Winnipeg Jets, in my opinion, roster for next year. I agree with what Paul Edmonds was saying there, but I have a little bit of a tweak to it. And I want your thoughts on this, Jim, and I want your thoughts as well from the audience, 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. I wonder if there are any spots available right now for some of those players that he mentioned. Those guys coming in from Major Junior, those Manitoba Moose players. Is there a legitimate spot on the roster? I want to ask you that question, Jim.
Now I remember 90 minutes ago what we were going to talk about during the show.
Let's take a break. Let's come back. We'll get into it. And still to come on the show, is it a lack of humility from the CEO of Ice Hockey? I love that. Ice Hockey UK. Or is it just the boldness that they need?
Pardon me. Is this where they play the men's ice hockey event?
Don't even go there.
Mitch Peacock, daily at Jets practice.
We'll be right back.
Excuse me, sir. Is this where they play the men's ice hockey?
With Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Jets at Noon brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio for gourmet pizza and pasta. Bring the team to Boston Pizza.
Well, $15 lunch specials.
Ooh.
Can't beat it. You put a 20 down, you tell your server to keep the rest.
You're a generous man.
Yeah. Good service. Deserves it. Customer service. Talk a lot about this during our news talk shot. It's being lost.
People just don't care.
No.
It's like when I was in Japan, we went to a department store there. Well, my wife did. I went to an onsen, which is like a big bath. It's like a big communal bath.
I'm sorry, what?
It's called an onsen. It's a communal bath.
You went into a group bath? Like you bathed in it?
It's called an onsen, Jim.
You onsen with other people?
It's a communal bath. It's a cultural thing. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
So I went. Did a lot of messed up stuff. And this onsen sounds a little. Nobody washed you and you washed them back, right?
So, Jim, while I was in the onsen, my wife was in the department store and was very thrilled with the level of.
Wait a minute. Did she know you were going to this onsen?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Yeah, she had
as long as you were upfront about it.
She wanted no part of it.
I wonder why.
So while she was at the department store, she was very delighted because she was the first person there. And so as she walked up and down the aisles, up the floors, there was somebody there greeting her at each booth. Each area, there was one person there dedicated.
Not pushy, I hope. Just saying, hey, if you need.
How are you?
Yeah.
May I help you?
I mean, we live in a world where a decade ago, if something was wrong with your flight, you could actually.
Ohio gozaimasu, which means good morning.
And she said, well, I'm a little unnerved. My spouse is at the onsen. We have a shower in the room, but he chose the onsen. How is your morning going? And they probably told her, relax. It's a cultural thing.
Yes. They actually looked at her and said, in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Although they did a lot of messed up stuff.
In Tokyo, in Shinjuku, do as the Shinjukans do.
But we cover this a lot in CJOB. Like it used to be, you'd be stuck at the airport and something would happen. You would tweet at the airline and they would actually get back to you and say, hey, I'm in your DMs. Thank you for your concern.
Yes.
We'll reach out to you. Now you call one and wait on line for days.
Well, they don't care.
Nobody the customer
cares.
Services.
It's gone. So
How is the customer service at the onsen?
Oh, fantastic.
How do you spell onsen?
Onsen. Well,
just as it sounds.
Yeah. Well, it's not English. It's
the Japanese hot spring, often a bathing facility or traditional inn, renowned for its natural hot waters and relaxing atmospheres.
That's what it was.
Some Canadians have been known to get their back washed by other onsen users when they could wash it themselves in the shower at the room.
Jim, the number.
This is what it says.
Jim, the first
selfish Canadians.
Jim, the first rule in an onsen is no eye contact.
I bet.
That's rule number one.
Surprised there aren't blindfolds. Although this picture, I've been to hot springs, natural hot springs, Radium and stuff in BC. Fairmont,
I've been
beautiful,
there too. I've been there.
But we don't bathe in them.
Maybe we should start.
I'll onsen up to you. I'll leave it up to you. I learned something today. Kudos to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe when you're on the in the land of the rising sun, Jim, maybe one day you'll happen by one and go, I think I'll duck in for a relaxing afternoon.
I'll choose to bathe myself alone.
Yeah.
But you never know. I get a couple sakis in me.
You could.
Watch out.
Maybe you could, watch a couple videos.
Okay.
See if you're interested.
I am not Googling that at work, but I might at home. We'll see where it goes. All right.
Okay.
Jets lineup.
Now we're totally off the deep end here. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Gabriel Vilardi. Let's go through the lineup here. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Gabe Vilardi. Okay. First line, absolutely dead to rights. That's number one line. Second line, I happen to agree with Sean Reynolds said this. Paul Edmonds has said this now. We've talked about this a lot. I think the second line, and I think we need to, and I've said this also as well, I think we need to reset the ideas around what a second line is, particularly for this specific team. I think there's other teams in the NHL, I'd say majority of other teams in the NHL are going to have a second line like you would think generally and sort of the stereotypical idea of what a second line is. I don't think that's necessarily what it is for the Jets. I don't think it's been that way for a number of years. I think when you say the third line, and the second line are sort of in. There's 1A, 1B, sort of second line. So second line: Cole Perfetti, Jonathan Toews, Gustav Nyquist, Nino Niederreiter, and to start the year, Vladislav Namestnikov, and I think Alex Iafallo is going to be on that third line.
Okay.
And then on the fourth line, Tanner Pearson, Morgan Barron, and this is the one spot that I think is going to be up for grabs. But right now, as of this moment, I have Cole Koepke.
Well, so this is the thing, right? And this is a fascinating conversation because, Brad Lambert did not have a great season for the Moose last year, but the Moose didn't have a great season either.
No.
I think Nikita Chibrikov had a pretty good season for the Moose, but then got injured.
And when he was with the Jets, he produced.
He looked good too,
produced,
yeah. So basically, either one of those, I think Brad Lambert, in order to make this team, has to be better than Gustav Nyquist. Mm-hmm. And then Gustav can play in the third or the fourth line, and if he comes in and wins the position, but he's in tough, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about a 34-year-old veteran who had 70 points 2 years ago. And then you have Chibrikov. And I wonder, everybody's waiting on Lambert, right? But man, Chibrikov in the bottom six, on a fourth line, I really like that. So he would have to beat out a Pearson or a Koepke. And when there's two of them, I think that's tough to do. But that's where I see this going. I think that as every team does, here's our 12 starting forwards going into camp, and then somebody has to win a job. But I think Lambert, he's a top six guy, so he has to be better than Nyquist, or at least show enough that they think that they can add some depth by moving the veteran down.
Yeah.
And then Chibrikov has to beat out Tanner Pearson or Cole Koepke.
Yeah, Koepke doesn't have an outrageous amount of NHL games. Tanner Pearson has 722. He's going to be on this line. Yeah. He's going to be in this lineup at somewhere. Koepke's at 99.
So what's lost in these signings, though, Cam, is everybody always says, "Oh, the Jets just signed more, bottom six players or fourth line players," and yes, they did. But they sign players who want something. Koepke's come from Tampa Bay and then last year played 73 games for Boston and had 17 points. His first real full season in the National Hockey League. Mm-hmm. He's 27 years old and he's only played one, more than the previous two stints in the NHL was a 17-game stint in 2022-23. He wants something here. He wants to stay in the National Hockey League. And that's what's often, are they depth players? Yeah, for sure. Nobody thinks they're anything else.
Yeah.
Are they expandable and can send them down on waivers? Yes, that's true. But they also want something, right? Tanner Pearson desperately wants a role in the National Hockey League and to have that continue. Cole Koepke wants to hold on to that taste of it he had after one full year. So these aren't just guys that have bounced around. And if they don't, Hayden Fleury is a prime example of that last year. Here's a guy that, bided his time, but I think did a phenomenal job in the games he played last year to hold on and get himself another NHL contract. I know it's a two-way, it's a one-way. So he earned that, right? That's what I see in Koepke. Koepke's got 99 games, one full season just last year. He wants to keep that. That's lost in these conversations of depth signing is these guys have, it's not like, I'm a depth player and I hope to play in the NHL, but if I play in the A, I got my two-way and I'm going to play pro hockey again. These are guys that are fighting for something. And I think that's important too, but they are what they are. And I think that there's some opportunity here for younger players to take those spots.
Yeah, I think the opportunity is definitely there. But again, it's once again, as we will say now, and we will always say, it's going to be up to them. And particularly when you have somebody like Koepke, who is not on a two-way contract. When you have Nikita Chibrikov, when you have Brad Lambert for the next 2 years is waiver exempt.
Yeah.
That's going against him, man.
Yes.
Because if you have an opportunity where you potentially could lose a player, you're going to send the guy down that's waiver exempt, and he is waiver exempt for the next 2 seasons. That, Nikita Chibrikov is waiver exempt as well for one more year. And that's going to be a real consideration when this roster is finalized. And because of that, I think it's going to be another year of those guys starting with the Moose. And when they do get their chance, and they will get their chance, they will be moved up to the big club at some point. Injuries will happen during the course of the regular season. They have to create a case for themselves where the team cannot fathom sending them back down.
Yeah,
where they need to stay on this roster here. So it's going to be you're going to be starting with the Moose again, right? but you're going to have to figure things out. And when you do get your opportunity, give us no choice.
Well, and that's the reverse of what I'm saying about the two veterans, Pearson and Koepke, who've been brought in.
Yeah.
The reverse of that is I know Brad Lambert's, got a ton of future ahead of him.
Yeah.
But you better figure it out this year. This is an important year for Brad Lambert.
Yeah,
and it's
a linchpin year.
One way or the other, whether it's in the National Hockey League or the American Hockey League, you have to have a good season. So let's do this then. He only had 7 goals last year on a very weak Manitoba Moose roster.
And the Moose is this is an exciting year for the Moose.
Yes.
Brayden Yager, Jacob Julian, Colby Barlow. They signed a bunch of guys with experience.
They're going to be better.
This is going to be an interesting year for the Moose.
So this is what I'm saying. At 21 years old, he's got a ton of runway ahead of him and future.
Correct.
But he had 35 points in 61 games last year and 7 goals. The 28 assists are pretty good on the record that this team had.
Yeah.
But let's say he has 37 points this year in 70 games. That's not good enough.
All of a sudden, he starts to tick down.
You have to have a good year here. Whether it's in the National Hockey League or the American Hockey League, you got to start looking like you. As to your point, I should maybe push here. Like, to me, if he plays 70 games, he's got to have 50-some points, 60 points.
And again, like I just said, the odds of him starting on the Moose, I think, are great this season.
But yes,
for many reasons. But he needs to play in the AHL like he's already in the NHL.
Exactly. He's got, and I don't just mean points.
Yeah,
he's got to be like his own admission last year after training camp when he put up some points. I got to be better along the boards. I got to win those battles. I got to through the center ice. I got to be, tougher physical. Hopefully put on some muscle this summer.
Yeah.
I'm not down on Brad Lambert at all, but I'm also not sitting here just because he's waiver exempt and going, it's on his way. And if he takes another step this year, no. I think you have to impress some people this year, whether it's with the Moose or with the Jets. You have to go, hey, this guy is on pace.
Let's look at the defense. Josh Morrissey. We don't even talk about goaltending. Connor Hellebuck, Eric Comrie. That's the end of it. There's no discussion there. But Josh Morrissey, Dylan DeMello, Dylan Sandberg, Neil Pionk. There's no real discussion there. But when we look down at the bottom pairing, you got 2 left side D in Logan Stanley and Hayden Fleury. And Fleury just signed a new 2-year deal. And then you have Luke Shen and you have Colin Miller, both of them for 1 more year. On that left side, you also have Ville Heinola. I think that the decision is going to have to be made. You're not going to be carrying around 3 defensemen. I think you'll probably see Heinola probably put on waivers following training camp.
I was going to ask you, who gets waived this year?
I think it's going to be him.
Heinola?
I think so.
I don't know.
You think it's going to be Logan Stanley? It's not going to be Hayden Fleury. They just re-signed him.
I don't know. I think Hayden Fleury.
Colin Miller?
No, it's not Colin Miller.
Luke Shen? He's getting waived?
No, not Luke Shen.
Well, who is it then?
It's
either Stanley or Heinola. And what we've seen over the last few years is that the Winnipeg Jets are much more willing to play Logan Stanley.
Yes.
So by process of elimination and using the clues that the Winnipeg Jets have laid out for us,
that's why
is there going to be somebody put on waivers? It's probably going to be Ville Heinola. Now you're going to say there's a trade there, right? 24-year-old defenseman with 53 NHL games and 12 points over 5 seasons. What is that player's value?
5th round pick.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Both are 1st round picks, Stanley and Heinola.
I don't believe he'll go through. I don't think he'll get. I don't think he'll last through waivers. Somebody would snap him up.
And many people are going to text into the station at 780-6868 right now. I think Logan Stanley gets picked up on waivers.
Do you think that they were going to put him on there instead of him?
I just, for years, I think that there's a...
Because Luke Shen is still on this roster, they have that quote-unquote big guy that's... Are they more willing to give somebody like Heinola a spot if there's going to be games when Shen is going to be out there?
I feel there's a deal out there, and it might be for a 5th round pick, but I don't. And I mean, maybe teams are going, I'm not giving you a 5th round pick. You're going to lose these guys on waivers.
Yeah.
But Logan Stanley has 202 games under his belt.
Yeah.
If you're picking somebody off waivers, who are you grabbing? The guy with 50 some or the guy with 202? And yes, say what you will about Stanley. Say what you will about Stanley. Yeah. Let's not get into that debate. It is what it is. But if you're another GM and you need a defenseman that can be your 7th guy and can come in the lineup, and you know what you're going to get.
It's always that spot to.
And I'm not saying what you're going to get is great. I'm just saying you'll take the guy with 202 in the size over the guy with 53 every day of the week, I think.
Let's take a break. Let's come up on the end of the show here.
But the upside is more with Heinola.
Is it lack of humility, Jim? Or is it a man who's got chutzpah? Determination.
What does it take
the right
to walk into an onsen and say, let it be bathed? Let's bathe.
Takes a pair of cojones.
Let's bathe. I don't know you. You don't know me. Let's bathe.
It takes a man who's very comfortable with himself, Jim Toth.
And a whole vat of sake.
We'll be right back.
How many times did you go? Once? Did you go twice? Did you go back? Did you go back in black?
Your thoughts on the show today? Call the Boston Pizza Jets Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Coming for lunch every weekday to Boston Pizza. Get the delicious main side and ice cold drink for only $15 only at BP. The number one caller will be awarded a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza on Friday. The winning text, the VIP text for the VIP car wash at our good friends at Wash Method, 690 St. Anne's Road. It says, hi guys, great show today as usual. I would like to agree and chime in that it is time for the Jets to cut ties with Heinola and Stanley. Many years of development and not much progress or noted improvement in either of them. Take what you can and cut your losses. Thanks so much for that winning text message. Thought we got to motor on to the CEO of Ice Hockey UK, Henry Stalins, put out a post on X, Jim. 1936, Great Britain's men's ice hockey team won Olympic gold. As set out in our strategy and in partnership with UK Sport, we're laying the foundation for our men's, women's, and para teams to return to the Olympic stage, qualify in 2030, and medal level competitiveness by 2034. Then he ends, watch this space.
We were sending Canadians to the Mexican Hockey League, and now I know there's not a lot of sunshine, but maybe you go over to England and play.
I got to say this, Jim. It sounds crazy and totally unrealistic because it is, but I believe you need somebody this crazy with this level of confidence to get that organization to the Olympics. They have not qualified for the men's game since 1948. And when they did win in 36, it was all thanks to Winnipegger Jimmy Foster, the star goaltender of the tournament. He carried the UK.
The David Beckham of English hockey.
And Canada didn't want him to go because there was transfer issues.
The
so they
Paul
tried to
Gascoigne of English hockey.
Henry Stalins.
Let's talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, I want to get into this. We're going to watch Henry Stalins. Don't go anywhere. Say it. Thanks, Brayden Yager for Preacher Saws.
Yeah, thanks, Brayden.